Well, hello there trainers, greetings, KuroBlitz here and welcome back to another video. Today it marks the second anniversary of the second match of the Masters 8 tournament, that being of Lance versus Diantha. A match that no one expected and a match that really didn't mean anything because no matter who would have won, they would have been father to Leon. And this is what I want to fix on today. As of this presentation, Ash has battled Iris, Steven, Cynthia and Leon from the Masters 8 tournament, but there is one person, even from all of the other contestants, that he never battled, but it was the first one he met, that being Lance, the former Elite Four of Kanto and now the champion of both that and the Johto region. So with that, I want to present an idea of how it could have been if Ash had battled the other three members of the Masters 8, that being Alain, Diantha and Lance. Let's find out. Alright then, so for starters there is some parameters that I would like to, talk about, and that's basically, I want to utilize the Journeys team. However, the Journeys team, just like in canon, they will need an extra buff, and with that I feel like they need some partners in terms of training. And with that I'm going to utilize Ash's former Pokemon, and they're going to be in groups of 12. We have the Kanto and Johto squad, the Hoenn and Sinnoh squad, as well as the Unova and Kalos squad. These three groups of Pokemon are going to play a pivotal role in terms of, training the Journeys team of Ash, Ketchum, and I decided to, group them around in terms of Pokemon, being the Kanto Pokemon of Gengar and Dragonite, the Galar Pokemon of Sirfetch'd and Dracovish, and Lucario, who's going to get special treatment just like in the original story, but not in the way that you might think. Before this Masters 8 redone hypothetical, I do have Gengar train with, the Kanto and Johto Pokemon because it has the silliness and the comedic effect of, the actual original series. But I have Dragonite here as well because I think he would benefit from powerhouses like, Bulbasaur, Charizard, Kingler, Tauros, Muk, Snorlax, all of that good stuff. And these Pokemon are from Kanto, but they have a very predominant place in Johto due to Morty and even Lance, so I think it will be very fitting for them. Now when it comes to Sirfetch'd and Dracovish, they are raw power, so I feel like training with, the teams of, Hoenn and Sinnoh, it would have benefited a lot, like Dracovish training with Gible, Sirfetch'd training with Sceptile, and all that good jazz. I think it would be very fitting for this Pokemon, which leaves Lucario with the Best Wishes team of Unova and the Kalos birds of X and Y. However, they would not be a detriment to this Pokemon in the slightest. They are not slouches, they are very powerful and very capable Pokemon. I can see Lucario, for example, training with Hawlucha, and he would also train Mega Evolution with, other Pokemon, like for example, Livani. It's a Pokemon that's very tied with Friendship Evolution, so it could have helped them out, and even Crocodile and all that stuff. But yeah, this is basically the prerequisite of training that I feel like Ash's Pokemon would need. So with that, let's actually go to this Masters 8 redone. But there are a few changes when it comes to the matches. As for the top 8, I do have Steven versus Diantha and Lance versus Iris. And since Ash is going to battle these two, I think that it's likely to believe that Diantha would be the one to, defeat Steven in this scenario. So it's like a callback to the XYZ arc, but the Fairy Gardevoir would defeat the Steel Metagross, even though it has a Titus advantage, but Diantha would be able to pull that off. It will be a duel of the Psychic Mega Aces. And when it comes to, type normality, I do have Lance versus Iris. Lance would defeat Iris, but Iris will be one step closer into being a Dragon Master because she went toe-to-toe with Claire's cousin, right? She's the newest champion of Unova and he's the newest champion of, the two regions of the Tojo Peninsula. This would be a lot of makeable sense. These battles would be 6v6, by the way, instead of being the regular 3v3 from the quarterfinals. And with that, there are the other matches that I would like to present, that being the Leon matches. In the top 8, Leon is going to battle Cynthia and he's going to defeat Cynthia. If Cynthia is going to lose to anyone, it better be against this guy. You have Sword and Shield representation and BDSP representation. You have Galar versus Sinnoh. This makes sense. And with that, due to Lance being the finalist of this hypothetical, it means that Lance would defeat Leon in the top 4. Leon defeated him in the finals prior of the former tournament, and now Lance gets the upper hand in the round before. It's like how Goku defeated Tien Shin Han in the 2013 Kaiichi Budokai of Dragon Ball. For those who know, you know. And yeah, with that, we do have Ash battling Alain, then Diantha, and then Lance. And these are the matches that I would like to envision for Ash's Journeys team. So when it comes to the top 8 of this Masters 8, I do have, all of the mechanics being allowed, which means that Pikachu will always use the Z move, Gengar will always Gigantamax, and Lucario will always have Mega Evolution. Now, when it comes to Alain, I decided to give them Pokemon that are able to Mega Evolve mechanic-wise, but not all of them are going to have it. And as an outlier, as a wild card, he does have Chestnut here. If Ash is going to use new Pokemon, so will Alain. I do have a Z-move clash between Pikachu and Ampharos. I have the pseudo-legendary battle between Dragonite and Tyranitar. I have Lucario against Chestnut because Chestnut has Bulletproof. So Lucario needs to, battle without Aura Sphere. That alone would be a great challenge for him. The Dracovish versus Metagross still happens because, it's a gift from Steven, and Steven would, be able to see how a fossil battles, and he would battle Alain, of course, so it's like a loose cannon adaptation. Surfetch is going to, battle a Dynamax Swampert. I think this will be the best case scenario. Now when it comes to Mega Charizard, I'm going to have Mega Charizard X battle Gigantamax Gengar. Gengar has, Ice Punch still in this reality, so the Max Hailstorm would cause a lot of damage. And more damage still, it would be, Dazzling Gleam being Max Starfall. So if there is someone to defeat Charizard instead of Greninja, I would much more prefer if it was Gengar instead of Lucario. But Pikachu would do a lot of damage before Gengar deals the final blow. So this is what I would like to imagine for a top 8 battle between Ash and Alain in the Masters 8. And now that Ash defeated his former rival, he's now going to battle the champion of the region from this said rival, being Diantha. And Diantha's team has an overhaul in comparison to both anime and game canon. I decided to take some creative liberties because there are some Kalos Pokemon that I do believe fit Diantha better. I like her motif with types and stats and all that good stuff, but I think this is more anime fitting for Diantha. She will still have Mega Gardevoir as well as her Gourgeist because I really like the Jessie, fangirling, and she will also have the fossils of Tyrantrum and Auroras. However, I never liked how, in the anime she also gets a Hawlucha and the Goodra because those are Ash Pokemon. So I decided to give Diantha a Furfrou and the Vivillon. And the Vivillon will be a fancy pattern one because it's a hint at Paldea and Scarlet and Violet as a whole. So with that, we do have, Pikachu against Furfrou. They are both going to use Z moves. This Furfrou has the move Dig because it will be super effective against Pikachu. And this Furfrou also has the move Facade. Pikachu will paralyze the opponent because of the static ability, and Diantha is fully prepared for it, despite never seeing the ability in the actual X and Y anime. Now when it comes to Gengar, he's going to battle Gourgeist in a Ghost Showdown. Dragonite is going to battle Vivillon in a Flying type Showdown. And then we have, Surfetch against Tyrantrum, the Knight against the Dragon. This to me makes a lot of sense. And when it comes to the other fossils, we have Dracovish against Auroras, and Dracovish better be prepared for that super effective quad weakness Freeze Dry. As for Lucario, he will battle Gardevoir, and they are both going to battle each other in their Mega Evolution state. I feel like this makes a lot of sense given how Psychic and Fairy are super effective against fighting, but it's the Steel type that gives a resistance and those moves are just going to be normally effective. And I would like to see, Lucario basically battling another Mega on their level instead of, just being Alain's Charizard. It would be, the actual Mega Ace of the champion of the region, so he doesn't destroy Greninja, but it gets, to defeat the one that Greninja never defeated, but it's not Alain's Charizard, so you don't ruin that story arc. And I think, these matches are very important, and I would like to, see how they could have happened in the actual story. But now that Ash has defeated his rival and Diantha has a champion, it's now time for him to, battle the champion of his own region, Kanto, as well as Johto, the dual champion and former Elite Four, Lance. And I want to give a little narrative like akin to the Sun and Moon games, where Lance was the one that, Kukui never defeated. As for anime logic, I would like to imagine that Kukui and Lance were once the finalists of the Indigo League, but Kukui lost to Lance, so it kinda parallels how Ash lost to Alain in the finals of Kalos. Thematically, it would make sense for Incineroar to have his first match as an Incineroar during this, but since I'm using the Journeys team, that will not happen. But let me know what you like to see in a Lance fight against Ash in the comment section down below. But for the actual purpose of this video, I decided to not have Lance use his Dragonite given how Ash has his own, and I'm not a particular fan of mirror matches that don't have, a backbone to their storytelling. So when it comes to this, I decided to, give Lance an Alolan Executor like in the Let's Go games, a Hydreigon like in the World Tournament of Black 2 and White 2, and I also decided to give Lance Aerodactyl as a Mega, and I also decided to give him a Dracozolt given how Ash has Dracovish. A lot of cool strategies here involve, Aerodactyl using Sandstorm so that Dracozolt can activate his Sand Rush ability. It's something that Lance would have learned from Raihan, given how he studied in the Hammerlock gym from time to time. And here are the battles that I do have. I decided to, give a Z move to Alolan Executor, and I decided to Dynamax Hydreigon to basically be, a King Ghidorah Kaiju situation. Since you already Dynamaxed Gyarados, it doesn't make sense to Dynamax Gyarados again. And it's actually something cool for Iris to see because, it's a Unova Pokemon nonetheless. So when it comes to the matches, I do have, Gengar against Executor, I have Dragonite against Hydreigon, the Pseudo Dragons, I have Lucario against Gyarados, the Pokemon able to Mega Evolve, even though only one of them are. I have Surfetch against, Aerodactyl, again, the Knight versus the Dragon, and I think it would be cool for, Surfetch to Brutal Swing those Stealth Rocks, like how he did with Cynthia's Garchomp, and Meteor Assault the heck out of that Aerodactyl. And Dracovish against Dracozolt, it just feels like an interesting fight. And since Lance has no Dragonite, as you can see from here, I decided to have Lance be the one to, tame the Eternatus that Go caught, and therefore Ash will become world champion by Pikachu soloing this Eternatus once and for all. When it comes to the epilogue and of this, story, I feel like Ash will return to Pallet, where all of his friends, companions, and Pokemon are celebrating in one big party, and just like in the end of Orange Islands and the Battle Frontier, Ash would have a battle against Gary Oak. And given how Eternatus is now free to roam the world, there are more Galar particles spreading across the regions like how it's done in Pasio for Master ZX. And with that there's a lot of, power spots all over the world. So this is the time where Ash is going to battle Gary, and it's going to be Pikachu against Blastoise. And it's going to be a Gigantamax battle between both partner and starter Pokemon. And Ash is going to win, unlike those other two times, post Orange Islands and post Battle Frontier, because Pikachu never got a win on Gary. Lost to Eevee, never battled Umbreon, and then lost to Electivire. and he was never used in the Johto League in that match, because Ash was more focused on power, because he knew he needed that. For Christ's sakes, Charizard soloed 3 mons in a row. So Pikachu defeating Blastoise here, it's cathartic, it's perfect, and it makes Ash one step closer to becoming a Pokemon Master. So there you have it, trainers. This is how I would like to imagine if Ash had battled the other contestants of the World Coronation series. Let me know what you guys thought about it, let me know what battles and strategies you would like to see in the comment section down below. Make sure to leave a like, share and subscribe, and I will see you another time. KuroBlitz out.